Hey everybody, I want to tell you a story of a job that I got a few years ago that completely changed my woodworking business. Hopefully it's entertaining to listen to. Maybe you build and sell woodworking products, and if so, maybe it will be an inspiration for you to just keep your head up, keep trying. Things do pan out in the end if you work hard enough. So it was a day just like any other day. I was in my shop working, I was building a coffee table or something, and my phone rings. And it was a friend of mine that I haven't heard from in years. And the friend of his was going to be buying this bar, bowling alley, restaurant building and going to try to fix it up and turn it into like a very classy um, establishment. So he said that he's looking for somebody with the skill to build a crazy live edge and epoxy bar top. So I said, yeah, cool, why not? I'll definitely look into that, give him my phone number and send him my way. So the next day, my phone rings, and it's the guy who's buying the restaurant. And he was wondering if I could come down and start, checking things out and get a scope of the work. So I said, sure. So I drove down, it was about an hour away, and checked everything out. The bar was definitely a bit run down, but that was the whole plan. He got a good price on the building, and he plans on fixing it up. So he said that he has a tree down the road that is laying in the swamp that he's interested in getting cut into slabs and using it for this bar top. So we went and checked out this tree, and it was a black locust that was sitting in the swamp for 6 years. And it was just a gnarly looking tree. I was pretty excited about it. So the guy that had it owned a mill. So he grabbed his tractor, moved the log out, and put it on the mill, and he started cutting a couple slabs off for us, and it was just gorgeous wood. It was just asking for epoxy. It had so many like gnarly grooves in it, and just really cool wood. So I told him, well, we do have a bit of an issue here because we need to dry this wood. If you plan on having this ready by next year, then we need to dry this wood. It's not going to dry in just a regular environment. And if you're spending this much money on a bar top, you're going to want everything to be nice and dry so it stays the way that you made it originally. So I told him my issues at the time that I didn't have much money, but I need to build a small shed to build a kiln in it, um, so that we could dry it. So we kind of left it at that for now. And then on my way back home, he calls me up again. He's like, "Hey, I just had an idea. What if I cover the cost of your building and then you just take it off of the price of the bar top, and then that way you can dry the wood and we can get started on this." Well, cool. That sounds awesome. I like the sounds of this. I don't have much money, so that'd be great. So it wasn't even like a week or two later, truck shows up in my driveway with all the wood that I need to build a 12 by 16 shed. So after that, I spent the next couple weeks building my kiln slash stain shop. Um, so once that was done, then he brought all the wood over. They were all cut into slabs. I stacked them up in the kiln and started the drying process. And I've never operated a kiln before that. I've never built a kiln before that. So it was really like a learning curve with how to dry wood properly. Then the day came where he said, "Okay, right on. We're almost ready. However, we really need some tables. Can I get like, I can't even remember the number. It was like 25 tables." I was like, 25 tables? Yep, I can do that. So right away we got designing these tables, and he just wanted something rustic that will look new but rustic for a long time. So I was like, right on, man. Like I can, beat it up, make it look rustic. So we made these 25 tables for him. So after those 25 tables, the shed was paid for already. I'm like, well, this is pretty sweet. This is a really good guy to know. So we kind of, it just kind of lingered for a little while, and then he phoned me up and he's like, "Okay, so and this was during the COVID outbreak initially. So he said, we got to close down the restaurant. And I was like, oh no, that's not good. So I'm thinking we can do the bar top now while it's closed. I was like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. So he's like, whenever you can get started, let's do it. So I went in and I took some measurements, and it was going to be 2 feet wide by 20 feet long. The whole time leading up to this job, I was super nervous because I could not replace the wood. I've never taken on a job this substantial before that. I couldn't replace the wood. I was about to drop a whole lot of money in epoxy into this thing, and let's just hope everything works out because this could make or break my business. So I pulled out a couple of those slabs from in the kiln, tested it for moisture, and it was perfect. It was ready to go. So I laid everything all out in the driveway and matched up all the live edge so it looked like it was going to be one continuous piece. But I'm going to make it in two 10-foot sections because a 20-foot long bar top, one solid piece, is just really hard to deal with. I'd rather have a nice seam right in the middle. It's easier to transport, build, absolutely everything. So I'll just quickly zip through some of the complications that came along through this job. This bar top sucked up 18 gallons of epoxy, and if you've ever bought epoxy, that's a lot of money worth of epoxy. So the very first pour of epoxy, it didn't turn out to be the right color. For some reason, my epoxy supplier gave me this cloudy, whitish kind of epoxy, and it was a new kind of epoxy for me. It was deep pour, first time ever using it, so I was like, okay, maybe this is like water-based varnish and it will go clear. Well, it didn't, and it was not the color that him and I had discussed. Fortunately enough, it did look pretty good, and he was very happy with the color, so we proceeded to keep pouring to the top. And then the second issue that I had, which wasn't really an issue for the bar, but it sure as heck was an issue for me. In the middle of winter, trying to get those slabs up to my buddy's 2-foot planer to save me some time, my truck wouldn't get up the hill, and his shop is way, way up the hill. And I just kept getting stuck and getting stuck. So him and I had to carry the slabs up to his shop and plane them and bring them back down. And we were exhausted. But we did it anyways. Thank you so much for my friend who did that with me. I know it wasn't easy. But those were the only two complications. Other than that, everything went very smoothly. The job turned out fantastic. I'll show you some pictures right now. So, where this thing sucked up so much epoxy, I was a little over budget, which was fine. I gave him an estimate, and it was a little bit over by like $500 or something like that. He was perfectly fine with it. However, he said, well, why don't we do like a trade-off because there's extra slabs in your kiln? Why don't we just do a trade-off for that $500? So I figured, yeah, cool, that sounds good. He'll probably just give me like 2 or 3 slabs or something like that, and I'd be happy. He's happy, so everybody's good. He told me, well, why don't you just keep the rest that's in your kiln and we'll call it even? I was like, no way. There was so many slabs. I couldn't even wrap my head around the deal that I just got. I was absolutely thrilled because I loved the wood. Everything was awesome. So we squared off with that, and then he followed by getting me to do a bunch of other smaller things that kind of kept me busy for quite some time. So now from that job, I have a 12 by 16 shed with a built-in kiln, and it's now my stain shop. Little did I know, that was going to revolutionize my productivity because now I can build things in this shop with all my tools and everything. This shop can get dusty. Once it's finished, I can bring it out to the stain, varnish, dust-free shop and finish it out there. And in the meantime, I can build other things in here. So that one job completely changed my business. And I had no idea that anything like that was going to happen until it did. If you're into woodworking, selling your projects, stick with it, let people know who you are, get your name out there, and all you need is one or two of those awesome customers to find you. You do a good job, you have great customer service, and it all pays off in the end. There is plenty of opportunity out there. You just need them to find you. So if you're into woodworking, go check out some of our other videos. We have lots of videos coming. I'm going to make a bunch of videos about how to find customers for your woodworking business, lots of project builds, all sorts of fun stuff. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, like, comment, do all that stuff that everybody tells me I gotta tell you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.